Col du Glandon first appeared in Tour de France way back in 1947 and since then featured 24 times, most recently being this year, 2025, when it formed part of the infamous Queen stage, including Col de Madeleine and the Col de Loos. Indeed, it very often features back-to-back with the Col de Madeleine because they basically sit directly opposite each other across the Morne Valley. So they're very easy to combine them back-to-back, give them a brutal day's climbing with virtually zero flat in between. As soon as you hit the valley bottom after one, you're climbing again back up to the other. It also often features in conjunction with its neighbour, the Col de Fer. Indeed, it's therefore often not a categorised climb in its own right, as it just exists as part of the ascent to the Croix de Fer, which is slightly higher. When tackled from this side, from the north, starting from the Morne Valley, it makes a very logical circuit, combining the Glandon and Croix de Fer. Very satisfying as well, being able to do a loop to get back to your car at the end of the day, rather than just simply going straight up and down the same way. The Croix de Fer itself has featured in the tour 21 times, and of course many of those occasions has been when it's been going via the Col du Glandon as well. But it does occasionally feature independently in its own right. The climb to the top of the Glandon is around about 21 kilometres long, depending exactly where you define as a start. Just over 19 kilometres from the village of Saint-Etienne with that sign, but it's a little over 21 kilometres. You start down by the river, right at the bottom of the valley. And the lower half of the climb is pretty straight, not too many hairpins, and it's fairly consistent at around about 7%. There's a brief lull around the middle, and top half much harder. It's a few kilometres of 8, 9, 10%, if not more. And then it's an additional 3 or 4 kilometres to the top of the Croix de Fer, with fairly minimal descent, but only around another 50 to 100 metres of ascent. So from this side, it's just under 1500 metres of climbing to the Glandon, just over 1500 to the top of the Croix de Fer. The climb starts at only around about 500 metres above sea level, which is a pretty low elevation. As such, it's brutally hot in summer. Thankfully, a lot of this lower part of the climb is tree lined, but you really suffer when you're not in the trees. At around 11 kilometres to go in this cluster of villages around St. Colomban, the road levels off a bit, you get a little bit of a breather. You also finally start to get a bit of a view as well, as the hillsides are opening up. It's worth stopping to fill up your water bottles here in this village, as I don't know there's anywhere this side of the Croix de Fer to stop and do it again. Potentially even stop for coffee and ice cream as well, because yeah, from here on upwards it gets much harder, and as far as I'm aware there's nothing now between here and the Croix de Fer. It's also worth noting that there is a half decent public toilet behind the post office here in the village. It's even got toilet seat and toilet paper at the time of recording, and neither of those things are guaranteed in France. Okay, granted, it is the ladies' toilet that has the toilet seat, the men's is a long drop, but who's going to choose to squat when you can sit? A couple of kilometres after the ski station, the road starts to ramp up again. First 8%, now 9%, soon it'll be 10%. It's much narrower, windier road as well now. What little traffic there is, there's a lot more in your face. But thankfully, it's quite a quiet road. For what it's worth, this road is really fun to drive as well. I used to love coming over here back when I still had a car. now I have a van, take some of the fun out of it a little bit. But yeah, this is a great driver's road. Surprising there aren't more cars on it, to be honest, considering it's mid of August now. It's Mont Blanc way off in the distance over there. Just under 4 kilometres to go. There's a little bit of an easing in the gradient again. Chance to catch a little bit of a breather before the brutal final couple of kilometres. I think the penultimate kilometre is over 11%. So even though we're really close to the Col now, still got a final brutal ramp to go. The Col is up there on the left somewhere. We still can't quite see it. It's quite intimidating looking up at this final head wall, knowing that we've still got nearly 400 metres of climbing to do in less than 3 kilometres of horizontal distance, which means it's going to be seriously steep. There we go, penultimate kilometre, at least 11%. Still got to get all the way up there in a little over a kilometre. So steep. Final kilometre, still over 10%. This is brutal. There you have it, the Col du Glandon. I've been wanting to ride that for a long time, having driven over it several years ago and seen how much of an amazing road it is basically, especially this top 9 or 10 kilometres above the ski station, and it did not disappoint. Absolutely lived up to my expectations. I mean, it's brutal, especially this top 2 or 3 kilometres. That's kind of what you want in a classic Col. You want to be suffering, and yeah, that absolutely delivered the sufferfest, but in an absolutely beautiful way. From here, you've got 3 choices. Either go back down the way you came, of course, continue over the Col, keep heading south towards the outdoors in that direction, or you can do what I'm doing, which, as I say, makes a very logical loop. Continue over the Col de Croix de Fer and then back down to the start point again. So yeah, it's nice to have options on top of a Col rather than just being straight up and down. There's maybe nothing in comparison to the top section of the Col de Loze, but in some ways it's actually harder because the Col de Loze is a closed road, so you can zigzag around wherever you want, and if you grind to halt, it's not a problem. Whereas here, you've got to deal with oncoming traffic coming the other way, so you've got to stick to your side of the road, and if you happen to collapse and heap somewhere in the middle of the road, you're liable to get run over, so you can't just stop wherever you want as well, you've got to keep going. So yeah, it hasn't got the 24% ramps that the Col de Loze has got, and it's not quite the same elevation and altitude either, but still, it's pretty damn tough nonetheless. But if you're looking for a beautiful Col to ride up, which has fairly minimal road traffic, then doing the Glandon from north, as I've done here, is definitely a good shout, because as I said earlier, it's the middle of August right now, and there's actually remarkably little road traffic on it. Sure, there still are a handful of huge motorhomes up here, but nothing compared to what you'll find in nearby Madeleine or especially the Galibier. So yeah, the lack of traffic definitely makes this much more pleasant than it would otherwise be as well. If you like these sunglasses and helmet I've been wearing today, these are the Lark SV polarising sunglasses and the Gen Mips helmet from OutdoorMaster. You can find out more about them in the link down in the description. And if you use my discount code, which is on the screen and also in the link, you get 15% off the entire OutdoorMaster range. It's not just bike gear, also snow sports gear, swimming gear as well, so check it out. As for me now, like I say, I'm continuing on up to the Col de Croix de Fer. So this joins onto the main road just down there, so it's a much busier road, a little bit less enjoyable, but there's not a huge amount of height gain between here and there, and then it's a long descent back down to my car, so it shouldn't be too bad. There it is, Croix de Fer, Iron Cross. What a view! don't normally do big rides like this in August, partly because of the traffic on the roads and also partly because of the heat. But the traffic's actually been remarkably little considering it is height of summer now. And yes, while the heat has been unbearable at times, on the plus side, it means you don't need to carry any kind of extra layers for the descent. Because even at 2,000 meters, it's still really warm up here. So yeah, there are benefits to doing big rides in the middle of summer. That view over there is absolutely stunning. It makes all the pain and suffering of doing this kind of thing absolutely worth it.